Okay, so I've got the reed blocks out, and this is the one of the sets of reed blocks, and it's got the high and low tuned reeds. So the lower ones are tuned at concert pitch, and the higher set are just tuned slightly above to give the tremolo. So what I'm going to do now is put this onto my tuning bellows here, which I've made, and I'm going to put some air through and have a listen to the sounds and the pitches of the notes. And I've got a tuner here, a tuner app on this other phone I've got, and I can actually see the pitch of the note and if it's sharp or flat. It's quite accurate, so it gives me quite a nice indication of what's going on. So I'm going to keep my eye on this, and I'm going to then go through the concert pitch notes on this reed block and just see if anything is majorly out which needs adjusting. And so I'll get the concert pitch reeds tuned, and then I'll pretty good, and then I'll put it back into the accordion and have another listen, because by putting it back into the accordion you change the acoustics. They're screwed to wood, you've got the bellows and everything around them, and the sound will change a little bit, so then you can make the final tuning with the reeds in. So it does make a bit of difference, but just going to get the big errors out, if you like, to start with. So if I put this on here, let's see if we can find a few, screech my tummy, a few notes that are out. So let's go. If I go here, so we've got an E flat. So when I push the bellows down, E flat is a good tuning. When I pull it up, it's a bit flat. So what I need to do here is to sharpen that E flat when I'm on the E flat on the outside reed, that one there, because as I was pulling the bellows up, I was activating that outside reed there. So what I'm going to do then is see if I can sharpen that outside reed, that one there. So I'll just show you how I do that. So if I just turn it around, bring it down to here. So to sharpen the reed, you have to take a bit of metal off the tip. Now to do that, I need a few little tools to help me. So I've got a nice fine blade, and that's going to support the reed. And then I've got some diamond tipped files, which are very sharp and very good at filing. So I've just got a few that I know work well, so that should be a good one. So let's find the note, that one there. And what I'm going to do is, I'm doing the outside reed, so I'm going to support the reed with my fine blade. So I'm not doing any damage to the reed, I'm not bending it, I'm not kinking it or anything, I'm just lifting it and supporting it. And then I'm going to get my diamond tipped file, and I'm going to take just a tiny bit off the tip of the reed. And by doing that, that reed will then sound a bit sharper. So let's see if I can do this with the camera on as well. I normally do it on my lap, but actually I could do it on my lap. I'm going to just do that. Let's see if I can do this. Here we are. Right, so if I go around this way, so that's there. Support the reed under my knife, get me diamond tip file. I'm just going to take a little bit off the tip. So what I'll do now, back on here, see if that tone or the pitch has gone up a little bit. And it has. Just doing that little bit of filing has now brought that one, and you can hear it on the tuner, equally pitched to the one when I was pushing down on the bellows, which would be in the inside reed. So I've sharpened that reed simply by supporting it and just filing a tiny bit on the tip. Now if I've got a reed that's going a bit sharp, then rather than filing away something from the tip, you've got to make a little scratch. So I've got a little scratching tool here, which is a hardened bit, and you have to make a little scratch somewhere between halfway up the reed and the rivet, so in that portion there. And by making some scratches into the reed itself, what you're then doing is you're changing the pitch to make it a little bit lower, so you're lowering the pitch of the reed, so you're changing the thickness of the metal here rather than changing the thickness of the metal here. So if I find a reed which is needs to be flattened a little bit, then I can flatten it by pushing some scratches in. So what I'll do, I'll find a reed that needs to be flattened, and then I'll show you how I do that. So just give me a second while I find one. Okay, I found one that needs to be flattened. So if I just turn it around this way a little bit, so I found a low G. Let's find it. This one. So on this low G, this outside reed here is running a bit sharp. So let's show you how I flatten a pitch slightly. So again, I'm going to support the reed, that one there. So I'm going to support it a bit further along because I'm going to be doing some scratches down towards this end. It's already got, I can see some scratches on there already, I don't know if you can see. So someone else has been tuning this as well, and they've also done some lowering of that reed. So if I just bring this round like this, so supporting the reed, and then I'm just going to, by very sharp scratcher, make a few little scratches, bring it round. Let's see what's happened to that low G. So it's still running a tiny bit sharp, and sometimes you have, with the bigger reeds, you have to do more to them to change the pitch. So there's more metal to be changed, if you like. So I'm going to do another little bit of scratching on the base of that reed. Have another little listen. Excuse me, turn this camera around like this. There we go. And there we go. So that one now, there we go. So that G is now equal on both inside and outside reed, and it's actually on the right pitch. So that's what I'll do first of all, is go through all of these reeds on the lower tuning ones, the concert pitch ones, and get them as accurate as I can. And then what I'll do, I'll put them back into the accordion and check it again. Oh, the other thing is that the ones I've shown have been on the outside reed. Now it might be that the reed on the inside needs to be changed a little bit, and this is where it's a bit more tricky. Now there's different ways of doing it. Now some people, they like to, I'll just show you, get my special tool here. What you can do is you can get a little pinger, like a little springy thing like this, like that, and you can lift the reed valve back, and then you can poke it in and grab hold of the reed and pull it up to support it before you scratch it. But I prefer to use this thin, very thin point, a very thin kind of scratcher thing that I have, and this is how I would support the inside reed. So if I just show you this, so say if I wanted to tune this reed here, I go in go into the reed block, and then can you see what I'm doing? There we are. Then I support the reed from the inside, and then you can just lift the valve hang on a minute, I'm not showing this very well. Support the reed from the inside, lift the valve, and then you can do your scratching either to lower the pitch, or you can do some filing on the tip of the reed to sharpen it. So it's just a bit more tricky. You have to support the reed from the inside and then lift the valve up to do it. So that's the harder one. You just have to be more careful, and yeah, so just do something like this to support the reed from the inside, and then you can make the adjustments. So that's how I do the tuning out of the accordion. So I can do that first of all, and then I'll put the reed blocks back in and have a listen. Okay, so I've got the reeds back in. I've taken the grill off, because when you leave the grill on and you start taking the accordion part, taking the reed blocks out, it can get a little bit kind of risk of getting it damaged. I'll just take it off to keep it nice and kind of neat. So now if I put the single reeds on the triple side, I can run through them and keep an eye on my tuner, which is just here, and I can have an accurate gauge now of the pitch of the single reeds with all the reed blocks back in. Now before I use a tuner, if I just play, it sounds good. It doesn't if you just listening to it, it doesn't sound out of tune in any way. I'd be happy to play this. I'd be happy to play that. So that it sounds nice, but if I just have a look at the tuner as I'm going up the white notes to start with. Yeah, I can see that the E on the pull is running a bit flat, and the F is running a bit flat on the pull. G's good, A's alright, and the B on the pull is also running a bit flat. That one's fine. And that one there, that E on the pull, is running a bit flat as well. So let's have a look at the black notes. So there's a few notes that are just running a little bit off, and because we put the reeds back into the accordion, the acoustics have changed a little bit. So what I'll do next is make a few notes on which of the reeds I'm going to make some small adjustments to. So for example, the E1, the first E note on the pull, is running a bit flat, and then I take the reed box out, make a slight adjustment to it, and do all the other ones on my list as well, and then put them back in and just check. So E1, F1 I think. F1 on the pull was also a bit flat. So I'll go through, make some notes and do some fine tuning on the reeds in the same way as I just did, but this time using the reed blocks in the accordion as a reference. Now if the F is on the pull, like that, then what you're doing when you're pulling the bellows is you're pushing air, you're blowing air through the reeds. So when you blow the air through the reeds, when you get the reed block out, that will be the inside reed, the one covered by the valve. Now if you push the bellows in, what you're doing is you're sucking air through the reed blocks, because the air's being sucked out of the accordion. So if you have a note where you change it when you're pushing the bellows in, that would be when you're sucking the air out of the reed block, and so that will be the outside reed, the one you can see. So sometimes it seems a bit counterintuitive, but that's the way it happens. So when you're pulling the bellows across like this, you're blowing air through the reed block because your air is being forced into the accordion, and when you push the bellows in, you're sucking air out of the accordion, so you're kind of sucking air out of the reed block. So just have to be wary of that, because that will determine which reed, either one on the outer one or the underneath one, that needs to be worked on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some more changes to the tuning of the single reeds. I'll make some notes first, take the reed blocks out, make a few fine tunings, and then put them back in and check it again. Okay. Okay, so I have finished the treble side single reeds. So I've done some tuning to single reeds after having put them back into the accordion. Put them back in, try them again, and it's just one note. The F just needed a little bit extra, so I have to sharpen that a tiny bit more on the pull. That one there. And now I've got them all back in, and they're all now sounding all good. So that's the first step done. So the next step is to have a tune of the tremolo tuned reeds, and so I'll do that in the next video. So this is my way of doing it. There are other ways of doing it, and lots of different ways of doing it, and this is the way I do it. It takes a little bit of time, but I'm happy with the results, and so it seems to work. So that's it. That's for this one. Hope you liked the video, and I hope it's useful. And so on the next video, I'll go through tuning up the tremolo set of reeds, so we get a nice kind of tremolo sound on the accordion. Okay, thanks for watching.